all night long, but there's no trace to be found. It's like they all have just vanished, but I know they're around. I feel they're getting closer. Their hearts are sending chills down my spine.
Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark, Medicine, Magic, and Mediums. I know the big title up there is misspelled. I was actually in a rush and dumb me, didn't turn the light on in my room, so there you go. I'm sorry about the late start. Also, I was actually trying to use a different setup, but I guess it doesn't want to work for people. So I got to figure something out because this is driving me nuts. Okay, so anyways, tonight's show is all about shamanism, kind of nature magic and psychic mediums, and kind of like the stone cold truth that you never see on TV about these things. For those that don't know me, that may or may not be listening, I want to explain some things. Or rather, I want to kind of give you a little history on me, personally. My name is Jay. They call me Ghost Wolf Jay because my Cherokee name is actually Anichawea, which in Cherokee means Ghost Wolf. It's a name earned. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. But I am a practicing shaman or medicine man. I do some healing. I've done to date 431 house cleansings, meaning removing negative spirits from somebody's home, without once ever getting a call back. What that means is I've never had to do a return visit. Once I've done it the first time, that's all that's necessary. And I'm very proud of that record because it kind of reaffirms faith in myself. And faith in the things that I believe and in my own ability, I guess, which in that particular line of work is extremely important. I also do holistic healing, albeit not as much as the whole house cleansing thing. I'm also clairvoyant. Although I don't like to think of it as a psychic ability, I think of it as a far more natural one. I have been able to see spirits, not just ghosts, but spirits, since a very young age. And I am somewhat of a psychic medium, I guess you could say. Although I really don't put it in those terms personally. But that's kind of how the world at large would label it. I had someone, and I'm not going to go into the whole story, but I had someone very close to me who passed away, and they didn't exactly leave. So now I guess you could say they kind of act as my spirit guide, and from time to time, they kind of like show me visions and stuff that... not really visions, because that's a different thing. More like images that flash in my head, kind of like those little picture puzzles, where you got to figure out what it's saying. You know, and it'll always be like baseball glove, sun, rainbow, or you know, something like that, and you got to figure out what it means. It's stuff kind of like that, and what he does is every once in a while, if it's something really super important, he'll show me something like that, and I'll piece it together and figure out where to go from there. Um, so, before we go any further, I want to say hello to people in chat. I already said hello to Jeremy. I want to say a big hello to Reagan and Abby. Love you guys. Always glad to have you here. Um, and hello and very welcome to everyone else as well. I'm so happy to have everyone here. So, uh, I want you to feel welcome here. This is your den, your refuge, if you will, in the paranormal community. Whatever your personal beliefs might be, this is a safe place. We don't really judge. I do have things that I have certainly a hard time with. Like I have a very hard time with like hardcore Christians. And what I mean by hardcore, I mean like the very like fire and brimstone judgmental types. I do have a big problem with them, and I but I do try and be very I guess kind of democratic, if you will. Um, but yeah, it like regardless of what you believe, though, this is a safe place. You may hear me bad talk about Christians a little bit from time to time when something's got my ire up. But other than that, we don't judge. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so anyways, to kind of explain or extrapolate a little more, we're going to start with the psychic medium. A lot of people don't understand what a psychic medium actually is. And by the way, I love you, Abby and Reagan, too, so thank you very much. I love all you, so there you go. What a psychic medium actually is, okay, and this is a part that they never really explain very well on TV. I mean, they do to sort of an extent, but they never really go very, very in depth with it. But what a psychic medium actually is it is a person or persons that communicate with the dead through a spirit guide. Hi, Becca. You may hear me talk to people in chat room from time to time, and I'll call them by name. Well, at least I try to. Sometimes I won't, but they all know who I'm talking to. So, yeah. So, anyways, the part that kind of gets lost in translation with psychic mediums is the actual medium part. People don't really understand what that means. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, Reagan just made a joke in chat. She says, Jay says he's medium. I thought he was medium rare. Huh, funny. No, I'm ultra rare. Because I'm the only me there is. Anyways, yeah, the actual medium part. And what I mean by that is that they kind of get to like all the impressions, all the kind of situational stuff when you see these people on TV, like your I forget the lady's name. I think her name's Angela something or other. The lady from The Haunting of, which is kind of like the spin-off of Celebrity Ghost Stories. Um, like, she has great impressions when she does this stuff. I don't agree with them all. In fact, I don't agree with most of them because she sees things in a very negative way. I don't share that opinion, but she believes whatever she believes, and that's fine. And they show her impressions, which make for great TV. I'm not gonna lie. But the part they never really discuss, the part they never go into, is the fact that her ability would mean absolutely nothing without her spirit guide. Because all the information that she's not getting directly from whatever spirit may or may not be there. She's actually getting information transferred to her from that spirit through her spirit guide. So it's all being translated through kind of like this middleman of a spirit guide. And that's the part people don't really understand. Or rather, it's not that people don't understand it, it's more that like popular media such as TV has failed to really focus in on that part. So basically, what it really means to be a psychic medium is that you have a personal relationship with a particular spirit, at least one. Some people have two or three, most have one. So whoever this spirit is that is acting as your spirit guide, that is a very personal relationship. It is like any other relationship. It could be like a marriage, it could be like a friendship, it could be like family. That is a great question. Reagan just asked in chat, how can we learn to work with our spirit guide? That's actually a really great question. And it's kind of different for everybody because not every psychic medium is exactly the same, just like people aren't all exactly the same. But generally speaking, what it takes to learn to work with your spirit guide is kind of through trial and error. Kind of like trying to find out what makes them tick, what their wants and needs are, and once you find those things out and you start, doing that for them, they will take care of your wants and needs as well. And it's kind of like a really like symbiotic relationship. You help each other. And it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes it takes years of trial and error. And but you do eventually get to a point where it's almost like any other kind of relationship. You kind of develop like a partnership. Kind of like how cops that have been partners for years and years and years just kind of know what each other are thinking without even really talking about it. You kind of get that kind of relationship with them. How can you find those things out? Yet again, another good question. Well, actually, I know who Reagan is referring to. On our investigations, we constantly get the name Paul coming across. And I have theorized that the reason that we get Paul is because, in fact, Reagan is a psychic medium herself, and Paul is her spirit guide. And basically, the way that you can find these things out is exactly the way that we found them out. Kind of investigating them. I would suggest practically to anybody, if you suspect you might have a spirit hanging around for whatever reason, spend like the money to like practically everybody has a smartphone now. So spend a little bit of money it costs to download the Echo Box or the Spirit Box or the Ghost Box apps from Big Bird Audio, and just kind of do like an EVP session. Try and find out whatever you can about what's there. And if it's like a recurrent theme, like literally every time we turn one of these things on, the name Paul comes across whenever Reagan's around. So we know it's directly connected to Reagan. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And so I've theorized that it's her spirit guide. I believe I'm correct. Yeah, and like she just stated in the chat, he followed her from Pennsylvania, and she wouldn't have known about him without the Echo Box in the first place, which is absolutely true. I mean, I kind of knew he was there. I just didn't know who he was or what he had to do with anything. And, but that's my gift of being able to see them. Obviously I can see he's there, so. But, yeah. So, it's not an exact science, psychic mediumship. It really isn't. But it does take a lot of trial and error. And, I think, though, that, the whole process of trial and error is definitely worth it. And I think that it's definitely a much more healthy scenario than, say, ignoring it because you're closed-minded. I found it, just personally, I found that the majority of closed-minded people are not incredibly healthy, just generally speaking. And I don't mean just, mental health. I mean, like, overall. There's something... I think there's something that just, about life, like this whole spiritual part of life, that just doesn't connect. And it does actually have a physical effect, I believe. But, yeah, so, psychic mediums are fantastic, though. If you can get one that is actually at a point where they are aware that they're a psychic medium, they have a good relationship with their spirit guide, and they actually start working together, towards whatever end, you can't beat that. You really can't. I mean, I love my gift. I love the fact that I can see spirits, because it allows me to do things other people aren't able to do. It allows me to take people's fears away when it comes to spiritual or paranormal activity. It allows me to also kind of like help bolster said relationships, like between a psychic medium and a spirit guide. And that, to me, is a gift. And, you ask any other person about spirit guides and psychic mediumships, they may tell you different stuff. I have no idea. All I can do is, tell you what I think and what I believe and what my experiences are. And, if anybody's got different opinions, they can get their own show. Simple as that. But yeah, it was kind of interesting how that all happened, actually, since Reagan brought it up. It actually all started when she was still living in Pennsylvania. Back when we first started talking. See, we found out that we're actually related, we're actually cousins. But we actually met in a chat room for another radio show, Darkness Radio. And we started talking, and there is kind of like that whole instant connection kind of thing. And but she was telling me about this like shadow figure she kept seeing in her I think it was her bedroom, and it was really kind of like it was really kind of scaring her there at the beginning because she didn't know what to make of it. And I kind of got to put her mind at ease and like point certain things out, like that he's most likely just there to communicate with you and doesn't mean any harm, yada yada yada. And she ended up moving here to Ohio, which was really absolutely, fan friggin' tastic. We basically figured out that we're cousins, and we figured out that through investigation that Paul most likely is her spirit guide. And it's kind of funny because he refers to our paranormal team, Ghost of Paranormal, as his team, which is kind of funny. Yeah, she just mentioned in chat that her shadow man paralyzed her, like the sleep paralysis phenomenon. I don't think it's literally that he paralyzed you per se. I think what it more than likely is that that was a side effect of that connection, if you will. And I think that's what a lot of that actually is. I think, yeah, he always refers to it as his team. It's funny. I think when that link, that bond, whatever you want to call it, was forged, that's kind of like a side effect, is that whole sleep paralysis thing. But, that's just my theory. I mean, we do know that far more people are gifted than are even aware of it. So, yeah, great stuff. And there's of course different types of psychics. There's, like I mentioned, I'm clairvoyant. Although I don't know. I think there's more to it than that. I think between the combination of being a shaman and clairvoyant, they kind of heighten each other in a way, because most clairvoyants can only see like kind of vague things, like they'll see spirits, but they'll only see them as like a vague outline or a shadow. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I think because I'm also a medicine man or a shaman, I actually prefer the term medicine man, by the way. But because I'm a medicine man, and I'm part of that is the ability to have visions. I think those two abilities kind of like bolster each other, and as a result, I'm able to see things that even other clairvoyants cannot. Because, like, most clairvoyants can only see spirits of the dead. I see spirits, period. Things like, if you've listened to the show before, you've probably heard me talk about gravelings. things like gravelings and shades and the like. Um, Things that escape the the view, the attention of, to put it bluntly, almost everyone else. So I feel very very gifted, but I also take it very seriously, and I take it as a responsibility and a duty to kind of use these things to ease the fears and tension of people who would be otherwise terrified of this kind of stuff. And that's kind of what I did with Reagan. And then she moved here to Ohio. We figured out we were related. She joined my team, and she's been an integral part of Ghostal Paranormal since she got here. This website that we're on right now, she designed it. All of this is her. The little radio player that didn't work at the very beginning of tonight, you can blame that on me because I actually installed that. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's all based on my vision of our team and where I want things to go. But like, she did the work, so mad props to her. So, anyways, and you know, that's pretty much what a psychic medium is. Is you know, someone with a very strong relationship, usually with a very specific spirit that through them can allow them to communicate with the dead. And then you have clairvoyants such as myself who can see spirits. And then you have empaths, which I also think that Reagan might have a little bit of that, where she kind of feels things. And I'm really certain that Abby has that, because there are times, especially when we first started with them, where Abby was getting really bad headaches, like the more she was around certain spirits. And I don't think that happens as much anymore, but yeah, that's kind of like an empathic thing. It's because you're kind of picking up on emotions and feelings and stuff that you can't really explain yourself. So, yeah. Sorry, I had to take a hit off my vaporizer. And I'm taking a drink. Okay, so I know I named the show Medicine, Magic, and Mediums, but I gotta be honest with you. When I say medicine, what I am really talking about is magic. The only difference is when one person says magic, Becca just asked a good question too. She said, "Would you say that I would be clairaudient?" Possibly. And here's why I say possibly, because I don't know exactly how it is that you do what you do. That's why I just refer to you, Becca, as our EVP specialist. Because I don't know if it's something that you're actually hearing, or if it's just like your instincts telling you that there's something there. I don't know exactly how it works. So, but I would lean towards, yeah. I would say you're probably clairaudient, if not at least audibly sensitive, I would say. But whatever I say about it, it doesn't really matter. The only thing that really matters is what you believe about yourself. So, yeah, she really does. You can just send chat. She has the best hearing ever. That's freaking true. I swear she's got bad ears. I mean, I've got really good hearing. I mean, excellent hearing. Like, I took a hearing test in the Army, and when I was done, the nurse looked at me and literally said, and I'm quoting here, "You could hear the fucking grass grow if you wanted to." That's what she said to me. I'm like, no joke. So, I do pick up on a lot of stuff, but she picks up on stuff that I think isn't even, like really audible to human ears. I don't even think it's like audible on like any wavelength. I think she's picking up on stuff spiritually sometimes. Yeah, it is pretty much the same thing as clairvoyant. Well, actually, it is a subcategory of clairvoyant because clairvoyant um, can be both hearing or seeing or one or the other. And then you have subsects, which are uh, clairaudient, which is somebody who hears spirits, like yourself, or like in the movie White Noise, if you've ever seen that. Um, and then you have clair visual, I guess. I don't know what the exact term would be, but clairviz or whatever. Somebody that sees them, like myself. And then you have empaths, like I mentioned with Reagan and Abby. And I think to some degree, probably Nora, too. Um, I think that kind of explains her roaming off by herself a lot of the time. Um, I think that she senses things and just kind of goes off on her own to seek it out, whatever it is. But, that's just a theory. She would be the one that could tell you about that. But, yeah, we're going to get into well, I call it medicine, other people call it magic, but there is actually a difference in our two. Um, when most people think of magic, what they're thinking of are things like spells, potions, and the like. And while there are those things, that's not real magic, not to me. Anyways, real magic to me isn't about spell work in that sense. Um, and I believe this even with people who do spells and who do create potions. I think that while those things are great, I think that it's really the kind of like magical essence of nature working through them to achieve that end. And that, to me, is the best kind of magic of all. That, to me, is medicine. And we're going to talk about that in hour two. Reagan says, "Hey." No, but it's true. I think when you do like spell work, nature works through you to achieve that end. Basically, what I'm saying is that you may do spells, you may do potions, you may do whatever, but none of it works without nature. If you disagree with that, then sorry. But there it is. And that's what medicine is. In some ways, it's more direct, I think, than any other type of magic. Because there's kind of no middleman. Well, spirits are a part of nature. And that's what I've been kind of preaching on the show from the very beginning, is that spirits are absolutely nothing to fear because they're just a part of the natural world. And so, yeah, I agree that, spirits have a lot to do with it, as Reagan just said in chat. She says, I'm cool, I'm just giving you a hard time. Yeah, I know. You always do. Anyways, going back to the other thing, um, there are the rare telepaths who can just look at somebody and know what they're thinking. But I have a very hard time with them because there have been so many phonies in that area over the years. It's hard to believe personally. I mean, like, they can say the most exact things. They could be right on the money 99.9% of the time, but doesn't mean they're psychic. Doesn't mean that they're a telepath. It just means that they're good at reading people. And yeah, so I have a hard time with them. That's kind of why I didn't mention them tonight. So if you happen to be a genuine telepath and you're upset at me for not mentioning them before, I apologize, but that's why. Anyways, let's see how much time we got left. Oh, okay, we got about 5 minutes. So, um, yeah, and then you have, oh, I don't even know how to describe it really. There are certain class of, I guess you could say, psychics that it kind of defy category. Because they're not really one thing or the other. They're just kind of whatever it takes, I guess. And they come in and out of abilities like all the time. And they're really kind of hard to describe because kind of everything fits them. Then you have multi-gifted people, kind of like myself. He's both clairvoyant and somewhat of a medium. And then you have the complete opposite of that spectrum. There are certain people out there, and the sad part of it is most of these people are actually extremely closed-minded and skeptical. But they're actually what I call nega-psychics. What they are is they're so negative and condescending and closed-minded that their negativity actually repels the abilities around them. So, like, for example, let's say there's a genuine psychic medium. He's doing like one of those shows. You know, like the whole Jon Stewart thing. Just, you know, the whole kind of did anyone have someone close to them die recently or know someone who did? You know, that kind of thing. Um, but let's say they're genuine. And but there's like one of these nega psychics in the audience because they're so negative and so condescending and so close-minded. They actually prevent this genuine ability from working because all that negative energy they put out actually would, like, for example, if I ever came across a negative or a nega psychic, I would probably instantly feel the urge to want to kick their ass because I would probably instantly feel them like shutting down my abilities, and I would react to that. That's just how it is. And it's not their fault per se. It's just that because they are psychically gifted, but because they're so close-minded, they've turned it all inward. It's turned into kind of like this really twisted thing. Reagan said in chat, talking about the other thing, did someone die that starts with the letter D? Yeah, exactly. And that's how you can generally tell the fakes, by the way. If they've got to ask questions, they're fake. Sorry, but they are. They are fake. And that's how I've proved myself over the years, is I've never done that. And I've actually done sessions like that where I walked in and said, well, I don't know who he is, but there's a gentleman standing over there. He's kind of a big fella. He's got kind of like that Friar Tuck hair, where it's kind of like just a crown of hair going around his head, and it's like gray or maybe white. Wearing like horn rim glasses and wearing a white t-shirt under denim overalls. That's actually a description I gave once. And I blew those people's minds away. And we'll talk more about that when we come back for part 2. So stay tuned, folks. I will be right back.